What's the worst part of depression? The hopelessness. It comes with the numbness, not sure which comes first. Not to mention that weird place where you feel so alone but the last thing you want is company. Never being able to figure out what you actually want is a bit of a headfuck too. Since this is grim, I will add that the best thing about it was finally hitting rock bottom. Having nothing to lose gives you a sense of freedom that's difficult to put into words. One day at a time. Waking up. There is a bit of relief when I climb in bed. I know I don't have to do it anymore. No more faking it, no more pushing through, no more trying to make it better, no more self-help, books, videos, therapies, etc. Luckily the antidepressant I take at night is sedating, so I usually sleep well. When I wake up, I immediately start the grind all over again. It's like the movie Groundhog's Day. The worst part that you don't even know you are suffering from depression. The self-hate and numbness. Being depressed so long that it feels like it rewires your brain and becomes your default state. I feel like being depressed all throughout high school really subdued my personality, and it comes back so incredibly easily. The feeling of putting on a front and your people thinking you're in a perfectly good place when in reality you're struggling to continue from one day to the next. The bleak, never-ending despair as you sit deep in a hole that you believe with all of your heart you will never escape. You want to talk about the things that disturbs you. You want to describe every detail of it, but you can't put it into words. You are speechless. You can't talk about it even when the person in front of you is someone you trust, someone you know won't judge you, but you still can't talk about it. Maybe you are feeling scared, but sometimes, you feel nothing, like drowning in a black water and cannot talk about it at all. Depression is a lot like drowning, except that you can see everyone else around you breathing. The lack of motivation to keep going, but knowing you have to. The feeling of being truly alone. When you tell the closest people to you that you have an issue and they brush it off or tell you they recovered and beat it, you can too. It happens at worst time. The memory loss. I honestly can't remember many things about my formative years because my brain has taken to blocking them out to prevent me from having to face it. I don't think many people talk about how depression causes memory loss, but it really does, and you forget good memories too because of how big of a swathe is covered. The fact that the low, depressed, apathetic feeling has no specific instigation point, so it's just a large cloud of negativity that's really difficult to get rid of. Almost like telling yourself it's bright outside when it's night time. I've struggled with it for the first time recently, and the biggest thing that's helped me is remembering what life was like when I wasn't. That way I can see the cloud for what it is. How to get rid of it is a whole other thing, though. I think for me it's taking specific action to do things I know I care about even if I don't feel like doing them, just making an effort to show up in the world in a meaningful way. Being/feeling isolated. Also the fact that people try to help you, it just makes it worse. Being depressed. Feeling completely and utterly alone when you're not. Knowing that I will have this fucked up illness the rest of my life, I have to deal with it every day of my life. And knowing there is nothing that can cure it. 100% fucked up. Aside from that, the times that I just sit somewhere and don't give a damn about things. And when I do care, not having the energy to do them. No hope. Self-doubt. Crippling self-doubt. Living. Not planning for the future. When you feel fine, then you get the crash that sends your heart and gut deep down under. That harrowing sense that you're living a lie. Then the next thought is suicide, but not having any courage to do it yet, constantly wishing it upon yourself. At the end of it all, you feel like a pathetic joke and blame everything that has happened on yourself. It's a self-deprecating cycle that never ends. You just wonder when the next crash comes, would you have finally mustered the courage to leave for good? Not feeling anything. Like so much of talking about depression revolves around despair and crushing sadness, but a major part of a major depressive episode is anhedonia, or a lack of feeling of pleasure. People equate that to mean feeling sadness, but it's not that you feel sad. It's that you don't feel. That is a Horrible sensation that if you have never experienced it, you cannot truly understand. Because it isn't just not feeling joy, it's that all of your emotions, joy, sadness, pain, loss, anger, calm, anxiety, all of it, are muted to the point that you are just an empty husk that doesn't not care, but literally can't care. And generally you want to, but it just isn't there, and it is awful. Unrelated to the question, but these comments be making think I have depression lol. Not gonna self-diagnose myself and say I have it, but the amount of comments I relate to here brings me the sneaking suspicion that I may in fact do. Of course it's not damn I felt sad like last week, guess I'm depressed lol, but the fact that a majority of these comments is something that I also feel and have been feeling non-stop for the past 4 years. When you are in the state of waiting to die. I'm in that state now and I wish the end would just fucking hurry up. Keep living because you have to do it, without a purpose, understanding that there's no hope. Being depressed. I don't want to die, but I also don't want to exist. Mental hospitals in America. They give you coping skills, and you learn nothing. You know you've hit rock bottom and it just makes everything worse because you can't see your friends or family besides calls because of COVID. You see bizarre shit in there, people getting booty juiced. Heck, I've learned more harming tools and ways to end it than I learned to cope with it. And then after you're on medication that makes you so out of it you can't tell what's real. The therapists they put you with are constantly begging you to stay, but you can't find reasons to. Anhedonia. Nothing is fun anymore. It just exists inside this realm of emptiness forever. The mess. I relate a lot to this comment. I look normal in so many people's eyes. Many would say I'm the happiest and most positive person they've ever met. I make jokes, I exercise, I enjoy watching TV series and reading stuff. I like to dress nice even when I go to the grocery store. I have plans for my future. I'm a completely functional person. But some days when I go to bed I feel empty and I start spiraling into suicidal thoughts. Life is really hard sometimes. I'm struggling and nobody knows. The lack of motivation to do literally anything productive or fun. I sleep all day when I'm not getting high and trying to forget about everything. Every day is a struggle against it. Even if you have a good day, the next day could be shit. I try to fight it off daily with weed, alcohol, antidepressants, food, exercise, and breathing exercises. Still, if I didn't meet my wife in my late 20s, I doubt I would have seen 30. She's the main reason my depression and anxiety haven't destroyed me. Despite all of this, almost every day, I feel the urge to just crawl into bed and escape, and my anxiety gets so bad my heart feels like it's about to explode out of my chest. It is exhausting. People weren't meant to live this way. Finding a reason to stay here. Anxiety withdrawing from life and those around me. Feeling like I'm drowning. Everything I've felt this past week. My life is falling apart and I don't have the energy to care to fix it or try to fix it. I just wish I could disappear. It's been 30 years of misery and pain and suffering. I'm over it. When will things start going my way? When people say you have no reason to be sad, then you feel even more guilty. When you pinch your arm to wake up and don't feel anything. That it never goes away. The memory issues for me. Feel like all my memories are wrong, and it also makes it hard to remember new things. There have been many times when I couldn't remember what day and event happened that week. It scares me sometimes. The endless cycle of not having the energy to even get up or socialize some days, and other days I feel okay. It feels like I don't have reasons to be depressed, even know where to start or who to reach out to, because no one will take me seriously. People see me go to work and laugh and function and don't understand how I can feel this way. The fact that it's so easy and so hard to live with at the same time. It's like a mental cancer that just erodes you away until it's too late. But as it does most of the time, you're able to get up, work and live a somewhat passable lifestyle. The numbness and the feeling of being stuck. Days where all you do is sleep and your body is basically weak. If that's you right now, hang in there, it gets better with time. Try to do things that are out of the ordinary that'll take your mind off of it. The humidity. It sucks the color out of life. Prescription drugs. Personally, pursuing treatment for depression via medication was one of the worst experiences of my life. I was prescribed drugs by my psychiatrist before the fucking guy even formally introduced himself. Such a garbage way of approaching mental health. A change of lifestyle, physical activity and dumping toxic people made all the difference in the world. The total apathy. And even if I do get fleeting interest in doing something, I can't find the energy to justify doing it. And then feeling even worse upon realizing I've burned through hours of my day without moving from one spot. The insecurities and not feeling like you have purpose.